Putazos y Pendejadas Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's David and Mark from PYP Boxing, here to talk to you about a big fight this weekend. There's not a big buzz about it, Mark, but there is a super fight happening. If you're a true boxing fan, you are eagerly anticipating a fight this Saturday. I'm talking about Bivol versus Beterbiev. This is a fight of the two best fighters in the light heavyweight division. They're finally meeting in the ring. They're not fighting on social media. They're out to prove who is the best. Mark, this is a true 50-50 fight. Bivol has been a WBO champ since 2017. That's when Andre Ward retired and he became the champion, the full champion. Beterbiev earned his first title as the IBF in 2017. Now he holds the WBC and WBA belts, and they're going to meet in the ring to finally find out who is the undisputed champion. I've talked to a lot of people the last couple of weeks, and I've been hearing a lot of people going for Bivol by decision. And I get it. Beterbiev is pushing 40. He's been inactive. He's only fought once in 2022, once in 2023, and once in 2024, back in January. Bivol has fought 3 times in the last year. He's 33 years old. He's a lot younger than Beterbiev. If we're going to go ahead and make predictions, and that's what we're going to do here, I'm going to go with Beterbiev by KO. I can see Bivol having early success, but he does get hit, and Beterbiev will find him. It's a mistake to label Beterbiev as simply a puncher, a guy who just walks at you and throws punches. That's not what you were dealing with here. You're dealing with a man that knows how to box. We said this in the last video. The man can box. He has boxing skills. He's an amateur champion, gold medalist. He's not just a guy winging punches at you. He can fight. He knows how to set up his shots. He knows how to land punches. He knows how to cut off the ring. I hear all the concerns with Beterbiev and the injury and the age, but I just think this guy is a special guy. He takes care of himself, Mark. He lives clean. He's a very religious man, so he doesn't get into the drugs and the alcohol and the women and all that other stuff. He lives a very clean life. He takes care of himself. So he's a preserved 39 years old. I'm just going to go with Beterbiev. How do you see it, Mark?
This fight, for me, has a ton of questions on both fighters. Bivol, we know him as a dedicated guy. Like you said, he's been a champ for many, many years, dedicated to his craft. He also lives a clean life. We've never heard anything about him. We do know he's dedicated to his craft because of how good he does the basic things in boxing. I always reiterate that Euros do the basic things well, especially Eastern Euros and, the Russians. The questions I have is the dedication still there after all these personal issues that are going on, all these allegations that are going on about him, woman beating, drinking, things like that? We've never heard anything about that. That could be just a bunch of slander. But did the money get to him? Is he training as hard as he did before? Did he get what Hagler called that sleeping in silk sheet syndrome? All that is big questions to me right now because everything that's happening around his personal life. Who knows? It could all be slander. And if he can compartmentalize that, did I say that correctly? Compartmentalize that? Anyway, that's a big word for me. But if he can put that shit aside, bro, if he could put that shit aside, Bivol will be fine because of everything you said. Beterbiev is old. He just came off of an injury. It was a meniscus. Football players take 12 months to come back from that shit. I mean, these guys are bashing each other's brains in, and you need your feet, man, especially for what I said. These guys are dedicated to their craft, and they do the basic things well. He's going to need his wheels to do the footwork to get him to do those basic things well. So questions loom. Can he do it at 39 with the injuries he's had this year? Is it too soon after a meniscus tear? Who knows? I'm going to go ahead and pick, even though I have all these questions, I'm going to pick the younger Bivol. If he can put all that aside, and he still seems to be working out there in India with Julio Diaz and the gang. I don't know if Julio Diaz is his main coach out there, but He's comfortable
He's
out
working
there.
with him.
Okay, he's still in that gym. He'll be fine. In the great boxing, he'll be fine because Beterbiev is a big puncher, but Canelo was too. Bivol gets hit a lot, but he got hit a lot by Canelo and he took it well. So
But
I'm
this
gonna
is a
go ahead.
different league.
Hey man, we don't know, right? We don't know. We were not in there.
I don't know, bro.
But I think Bivol can take it pretty well. I think he can take it
Okay.
well. He took Canelo's shot very well, and I'm guessing Canelo punches harder than Beterbiev in a fight. I'm guessing. I'm gonna guess that. So I think Bivol, can take his punch. I think the younger Bivol is gonna go forward, and that's gonna set up Canelo Bivol down the line in 2025.
Wow, check out Mark with the crazy take to say I'm not saying the Bivol winning part. I think that's a very logical prediction. But Canelo hitting harder than Beterbiev? Woo!
I think he hits harder than him.
I think we're gonna get a lot of comments on that one, guys. What do you think? Are you smelling what he's cooking there?
Canelo's been looking freaking amazing at what he does, and he doesn't
No,
have
he
to knock
looks
out his
great.
opponents.
Yeah, but you're telling me Beterbiev wouldn't knock out Berlanga?
I mean, that is a whole different weight class.
No, we're talking about punch for punch, and Canelo landed a lot of shots on Berlanga.
Well, yeah, of course, Beterbiev can knock out a Berlanga. That's the Canelo.
No, I mean he knocks out Berlanga, like a high probability that he knocks Berlanga out, whereas Canelo couldn't.
Well, I mean,
I'm just pushing back on that one part, bro.
I don't want to say Canelo couldn't knock out Berlanga.
He didn't,
He can,
but he didn't, and he had 12 rounds to do it. I
mean,
don't know. I think Canelo's a hell of a hard puncher. I think he's one of the hardest punchers at 168 pounds, no doubt about it. But when you're talking about a man who's fighting bigger fighters than Canelo fights, he fights 175 pounders, and he's knocked out all of the ones that he's ever faced.
Yeah.
That speaks for itself. I think we're going to see the power on Saturday. But I can't wait, man. One of us is going to be wrong for sure, unless it's a draw. Really exciting fight, Mark. The undercard's going to be pretty good too. That will be available on the Zone. If you already pay the monthly subscription fees, you won't have to pay extra to see the fights, the card. But if you don't have the Zone, you will need to get the Zone subscription, be $19.99. Then you'll get to see the undercard. The main fight I'm looking at on the undercard, Mark, is Wardley versus Clarke 2, the rematch. The first fight was an amazing UK heavyweight fight. Both guys went at it. It was the Gaddy Ward of heavyweights, if you can imagine that, Mark. They were throwing putazos. And I'm telling you right now, man, I'm expecting the rematch to be the same. Don't sleep on the undercard, guys. Moving on, Mark, we've got some boxing news. David Benavidez went to his social media and posted that he had talked to David Morrell, much in the same way that Terence Crawford and Errol Spence made their fight. They talked to each other without their teams, came to an agreement, and it looks like Vegas, January 25th or February, those are the two dates that have been mentioned, we will see David Benavidez fight David Morrell at 175 pounds. And I really like this fight. I'm very excited about this, Mark. I think finally the Canelo chasing is over. Benavidez is sticking to his word. He's trying to make his own legacy. That's something that I've been wanting him to do for a couple years now. Neither guy looked very good to me at 175 pounds. I know you liked how Benavidez looked versus Gvozdyk. I think this is a good matchup, right? I think both guys are aggressive. Both have quick hands. They throw punches. This is going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, man. I think it's going to be a great fight. I talked to Benavidez Sr. a couple of weeks ago, about a month and a week ago. Y'all can find it there on PYP. But off camera, he hinted. He said something big was coming up for one of his sons. We all thought it was the other son because we haven't seen him in action a lot. He's been the lesser active of the two, and he didn't hint at something big. So we thought it was the other son. Lo and behold, It's this son, and I love it, man. I like David Morrell in this one, though. I like him. I think he's a little bit more athletic, but it's going to be a fun fight, and it can go either way. I'm pulling for Morrell in this one. I like Morrell. I'm a
Oh,
Morrell
wow.
fan. Yeah, I'm a Morrell fan. I like him. I expect him to win, but it's going to be an awesome fight. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's a title fight. There's 2 titles on the line. When I read Benavidez' Instagram, it's 2 titles on the line, but you never know what 2 titles are on the line.
Yeah, I think there are 2 interim titles. I
Hey,
wonder,
but
can you
hey,
unify
it's
some
always
interim
great to
belts?
say we got some title fights, and it's a title
That'll be
fight,
fun.
2 titles
But
on the
Mark,
line.
okay, can we just cut the crap though? The real champions are fighting this Saturday. There is no
Yeah,
other champion
yeah,
at
yeah,
175 pounds.
yeah, and
So let's not fall into that narrative. They're not fighting for titles when Benavidez
right.
and Morrell get in the ring. The real champions are fighting this Saturday.
That's the better of the 2 matchups, but this is a fun one as well.
It will be fun. So you got Morrell, huh?
Yeah, I got Morrell in this one. Who do you got in this one?
Well, I kind of leaning towards Benavidez only because I love Morrell passes the eye test, Mark, but I haven't seen him fight anybody.
Yeah, Benavidez
His
did some
resume is
time.
really soft. I don't think he's been tested. He has all the goods, that's for sure. He has the speed, he has the athleticism, the power, but who has he shown that against? Morrell is still a bit of an unknown, whereas we've seen Benavidez step it up at least a little bit. He fought the Caleb Plant. That's the best opponent between the both of them. Even Gvozdyk, when he fought Gvozdyk, even though Gvozdyk is an older, he's not in his prime anymore, still a difficult challenge at 175 pounds, better than what Morrell faced in his last fight. So I'm kind of leaning towards Benavidez in this one.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, man. It's a
We'll see
big
what
test for
happens.
both of them.
Yeah, we got a lot of time to delve into that fight when it does go on. Mark, moving on to some other things. Teofimo versus Crawford on Twitter. You know how much I love these fighters talking smack to each other on social media. It really gets me interested. I'm joking. Teofimo Lopez and Crawford over the last few days have been going back and forth. It all came to a head, Mark, when Crawford, I found this part very interesting. He tells Teofimo, if you fight Madrimov at 154 pounds and beat him, then I'll beat your ass. I find this very funny and ironic, Mark, being that Crawford is in a very similar situation. He's trying to jump up several weight classes to fight a bigger fighter for a bigger payday, one Canelo Alvarez, and he expects to just jump in front of everybody and skip the line and get a fight with Canelo. But he's making fun of Teofimo trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Seems a little hypocritical to me. I've been claiming the same thing. I think Crawford should move up to 168 pounds, fight a former Canelo opponent, prove that you belong in the weight division. People will take your challenge more serious. Do you care anything at all about this?
You know what, man? You know me, man. I love the cheese, man, bro. But I really was disappointed with this one, man. It got way out of hand. It's been getting out of hand. Teofimo made some ridiculously horrible comments I don't even want to mention a couple of weeks ago. And then it kind of died down. Then they invited him onto a real famous show right now with Mason Cameron. And then they ambushed him about 40 minutes into the show with all the N-word comments. And then he doubles down on it. And now you got Crawford, telling him that he wants a street fight instead of a boxing match, and now he's telling him that he is not going to fight him unless he fights Madrimov. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell do I want to see Madrimov Teo for when we got Madrimov fighting Bohachuk coming up, man? I mean, all that stuff, forget about that. Let's talk about Bohachuk and Madrimov, a real fight, man.
Well, that's a fight that just recently got signed. Madrimov versus Bohachuk has just been confirmed to be on the undercard as the co-main event to the Usyk versus Fury rematch. That'll take place on December 21st. This is going to be a fight. This is actually was on our wish list, Mark. After we saw Virgil Ortiz take on Bohachuk, we said Bohachuk and Madrimov need to fight each other. That's going to be a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
Who do you like early on? Now that this fight has been announced, who do you think takes it?
Man, I don't know. I do expect another Gotti Ward. I think that's why Turkey Al Sheikh put this together. He sees two dudes that are just gonna go at it, and it's not for a title or anything like that. But I know Turkey Al Sheikh is gonna pay these guys, and to me that is awesome because you got two true warriors who really love the sport and dedicate themselves to it and do it the right way and don't talk smack and throw stupid slurs and racial comments out there. You got two good people fighting and decent people out there and getting paid for it, and guys that are willing to lay it all out there and possibly die in the ring for our enjoyment, man. And they're getting well paid for it. I see a Gotti Ward 1, 2, 3 if they make it fun. I really do. I think Turkey will do that if they make it fun. So I can't wait, man. I hope they make it fun and it becomes a trilogy because this one is one of those that you just know is going to be a bloodfest, crazy, Gotti Ward type fight, man.
Wow. I don't see Gotti Ward in this, although I do think there's going to be a lot of action. I think there's going to be some good action in this. The styles complement each other very much. I think you have Madrimov, who's more of the counter puncher, kind of stands his ground, doesn't move back a lot, although he could if he wanted to. And Bohachuk, what he's going to do. He's going to come right at you. He's going to throw lots of punches. I think Bohachuk's style plays into Madrimov's hands a little better. I think he's going to be there to be hit. But again, the best way to beat a counterpuncher is, of course, to throw, come at them with a lot of pressure, wear them down. It can go a lot of ways. I look forward to this fight happening. I'm not sure where I land on a prediction, but I'm leaning towards Madrimov on this fight.
Man,
but it's going to be a good one, bro. It's going
to
be.
You know what? I want to choose Madrimov, and I know he only has like 10, 11 fights, but seems like he's been like in wars, and he's had a long, amateur career as well. Gosh,
yeah, like 300 fights.
I'm gonna go with.
I don't know. I don't think
I'm gonna go with Bohachuk. I'm gonna go with Bohachuk. He's bigger. He's a taller guy. He's got the reach. I'm gonna go with the physicality. I'm gonna go with Bohachuk.
All right, man. Yeah, I mean, this does feel like a 50-50-ish fight. That's why we like him. But no, definitely looking forward to that one on December 21st.
That's on the undercard of Usyk and Tyson Fury, man.
And you know what that means is it's going to be during the daytime because when the fights happen in Riyadh, they start the cards early here in the States. That's going to be good, man. So our Saturday night, not only did we get to watch boxing on Saturday, but we have the rest of the night to go do what we want, man. And, we don't have to build our plans all around the fight card.
When Tyson Fury beats Usyk, is he going to be a 4-time world champion or is it a 5-time world champion?
No, I think he's going to retire because he's going to lose to Usyk. He's going to lose to Usyk. I've been telling you guys this, you still don't believe it, man? I've been telling y'all since the beginning.
That first time.
I've been telling y'all since the beginning. Usyk was going to beat that man, and I think he's going to do it again, and he will retire. Fury will have
Fury always rematches well.
Does he?
He rematches well.
After he loses?
Yeah.
He's never lost. This was the first time he lost, so we don't know.
Was that a draw? Okay, was that a draw with Wilder? The first one?
He had a draw with Wilder, yeah.
And then the comeback was the rematch was badass.
The rematch was badass, but I mean, that was Wilder. He's not in there with Wilder. He's in there against Usyk, bro. Usyk is a pound-for-pound level fighter, and he's going to prove it again. You'll see.
So
he might knock Fury out this time. Ooh. That's how deep I'm going with it. That's how deep I'm going with it, bro. Anyway, that's all we got to talk. What's up?
That one's going to be fun, too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That was I thought the first fight was really good. I thought Usyk almost took him out, but this time he's going to finish the job for sure. Well, Mark, that's it. That's all we got today. Let us know, folks. What do you think about the news? What do you think about, or what are your predictions for Beterbiev versus Bivol? Who do you think is going to win that fight? And what do you think of Bohachuk versus Madrimov? Are you guys as excited about it as we are? Let us know in the comments, of course. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. PYP is out.